Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Hoots in Cage. It's a first-person puzzle game with a bit of a psychedelic twist. Essentially we're going to be discovering some secrets about the world of owls in space. It's a world that I've been longing to learn about for a very long time, and we're finally going to get our opportunity. So our character seems to find his or herself in some sort of a predicament here that at the very first outset, I'm not even sure quite how to frame what is going on. We can talk to this one floating owl here. It says, "Sometimes I forget why I'm here. Why am I here?" And let's just have a look around real quick, shall we? So you might have noticed I just had this little sort of a pulse happen, and that was because I pressed spacebar. And spacebar is actually a button we're going to be pressing a whole bunch in this game, and I have actually played quite a bit of this. I spent about 20 minutes or so doodling around, trying to figure out what exactly it is that we're going to be doing in this game, and it's a lot more interesting than it seems at first. Because the first impulse looking around is to say, alright, well, this is like some pretty psychedelic space area with crazy visual effects and blown out lighting and stuff, and sometimes you see like some seams and things maybe, and there's like a comet that goes by, and it kind of looks like there might be some things off in the distance, but I try to go to this thing and I can't quite get there and I'm not quite sure why. But then all of a sudden things start to make a little more sense when I start to realize that the reason I can't get any closer to that object is because I haven't tried hitting spacebar on that object. And what happens now? Well, if I were to guess, and it's not a guess at all because I know exactly what's happening, but it almost looks like I'm breaking apart a wall, an invisible wall that's confining my owl self into a pseudo-invisible prison. I mean, it becomes a lot more tangible once you realize that there might be something on the other side, and how freaking mysterious is that? That upon starting to break these bricks apart, you realize there's actually a series of gears and like a whole other world going on the other side, and I think this makes for some great metaphorical, esoteric conversation about, like, well, maybe we just can't see over the box that we're trapped into because we're so far down that even standing upon the shoulders of giants, the secrets of the world and the universe remain just out of our reach. Something like that, I think, is the kind of the idea that you might be going for. So off in the distance, you probably notice there's sort of a ring over there with, looks like 4 little notches spinning around, 4 little cubes. And the trick to this game is these are our hubs. We can actually use these to warp from one place to another, and the way we do that is we left-click on them. It's rather obvious, actually, now that I say it. And we find ourselves in another very strange and beautiful space scene. Now, are there any owls for me to talk to here, or is this just... Looks like it's just me. Oh, there it is. Okay, hello. Leave me alone. Are you an upset owl? I like your head and how it keeps turning in circles. That's one of the signature owl moves that I respect a lot when they do that. It just makes me love owls so much. I actually really do love owls a lot. So let's click on some more walls. And we've discovered already another portal that we can take. But the thing is, the more time we spend breaking apart all the walls to this scenario here, the more we realize there's actually portals in all different directions, not just the one that I discovered over there. There's actually a group of them, and I believe, what are there, 8 or so different rooms that we can visit, and all of them actually contain sort of a meta puzzle that until you start to see the framework of what exactly is going on here, you won't even understand that you're in a puzzle per se. So it's actually kind of like a box within a box within a box, if that makes sense. The enigma goes multiple levels deep. It's sort of like an ogre or an onion or, you know, Shrek. So if I look at this, what's going on right here? What is freedom, says this spinning iPad owl. Well, freedom is... I don't know, actually. What is freedom? Freedom is freedom. Freedom is not being shackled down in the box that we find ourselves in. Well, this is actually, I presume, how we were able to leave the prison that we find ourselves within, but I don't actually know all the passwords that we need to input here, and the goal of us doing this exploration is to eventually realize what those might be. And they're hidden in rather unconventional ways that until you actually look around all of the prison cells that we find ourselves in, you probably won't even have an ability to discover that you're in this prison yet, like the prison within the prison within the prison, I mean, which is part of the charm here. So, I mean, I find this to be an incredibly interesting project for a lot of reasons. Number 1, it looks beautiful. Number 2, it sounds beautiful. Number 3, it's really unconventional. and doesn't seem to be much like anything I've ever seen before. I mean, I've played games like Antechamber, but even that's a lot more straightforward in its narrative, and that's saying something, because it's really not very straightforward in its narrative. So what do these owls want to say? This place is comfy, I have nothing to complain about. Alright, so this owl's happy in prison. In the end, keepers and prisoners all share the same jail. Alright, another bit of commentary on life, perhaps. And that one just says, I loved you. And they don't actually say anything else as far as I can tell. Maybe if you trigger some sort of key storyline elements, you can come back and experience different things, but I haven't really noticed them saying a whole lot different. Let's go to marker number 3, where everything seems to be nice and blue. What do you have to say about things? I'm watching. Alright. You can't escape from my eyes, and enjoy the scenery from your place of confinement. It could be the best place to contemplate the outside. Oh man, the paradoxes are deep with this one. Alright, so let's look around for one more portal, and maybe that'll be good. I don't want to spoil all of the majesty and bizarreness that goes on in this, and I absolutely don't want to accidentally show you any of the passwords, because that certainly does take things away from this experience, and I highly, highly recommend that you go download this for yourself, because it is actually completely free, and can actually give you a bit of a good time, a bit of a longer good time than I would have expected from something like this. I was hoping at the very first that maybe we would get to actually go outside of these chambers and actually, like, explore the crazy gear world that seems to be out there. Doesn't seem to be the case, but I actually don't know what happens if we do actually find our way through at the very end. Wow, that is a very mysterious sound. Certain key points seem to make very much louder sounds than other areas, so maybe that's a hint in and of itself. I'm not actually sure. And also, when you're wandering around and looking for portals, don't be too shy. You can actually click on all of the walls and ceilings and floors. So there's plenty of places to go. This space, too, is just really pretty looking. And I really like the effect of how the blending happens on the bricks, where it's like you don't even realize these are a solid structure until you tear them apart. And some of them actually have bits of white that sort of get flecked in with the bricks, so they sort of blend in and out of the space outside of them. You can see it going on right here, where because the outside space, or rather the inside-outside space, if that makes sense, is really desaturated and really blown out looking. Desaturated is not the right word, just really blown out looking. The white that goes on outside of it actually blends together, and I really like that quite a bit. And, you know, also just the great ambient sounds that are going on really pull me into this whole thing. Is there another... Okay, that one's 3. So I've got access to 1, 2, and 3, it looks like, from here. Do a bit more smashing. Ah, goodness. Ah, the sounds are so dissonant. It's kind of terrifying in some ways, too. Freaking intergalactic space owls in a psychedelic prison of your mind. Like, what more do you want out of a crazy indie game than this? This is the mecca of wild that I'm always looking for. I can't even tell which the bricks are and which is the outside. It's such a weird effect. Alright, well, maybe I'm not finding another portal from here. I think this particular chamber, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to lead us to any of the good ones. Oh. Wait, this is 1. Is this... Oh, this is the very first one. Okay, so I went, like, straight for the first portal I could find when I got here. And they do keep progress, by the way, in case you're wondering. If you go and you just destroy this thing to the most extent that you possibly can, when you come back to visit it again, it'll be exactly the way you left it, and you can just resume. This one takes me to 4. I've been to 4 already. 4 is the one that gives you access to 1, 2, and 3. So there are a couple... I want to, like, make a flowchart of which ones lead to where. I guess somebody on GameFAQs can go ahead and handle that stuff or something like it. Imagine Hoots and Cage on GameFAQs. That would be a thing. So is there another one here? I just wanted to go to, like, one of the further ones. There's a rather menacing area that you can run into, and also one that actually comes across a little unconventional, or slightly different anyway from some of the ones that I'd seen prior. I kind of wish that the tone or the smacking of the owl could be mapped to the spacebar in such a way that you could just hold it down and continuously make bumping happen, but it seems like you can't. You're forced to just keep pressing it every single time, which can be a little bit grinding, since there's a lot of bumping to do in this game, if that makes sense. Alright, so it seems like I've gotten myself in an infinite loop here. There's definitely more than the ones you've seen, but I guess I'll leave things the way they are. That's Hoots and Cage. Very strange, very cool, very beautiful. Go give it a download and let me know if you can get to the end, because I can't wait to figure out what exactly is going on in the meta scheme of things here, because this is many levels, like I said, many layers deep for Hoots in Cage. So as always, if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like on it, because that does help me out quite a bit, and then you can be sure to come back again tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. The one today I certainly thought was one of the cooler ones, but you never know what's around the corner for Indie Impressions. I'm looking for crazy games like this every single day, so if you're on board, you know, consider subscribing to the channel. You'll find lots and lots and lots of videos. There's actually over 850, or very close to 850 at this point in the series, and new ones coming every day, like I said. So I'll see you back for another one tomorrow, and I hope you have a fantastic night.